And how we doing tonight? Good to see everybody. Thanks for stopping by, hanging out. I am looking forward to being with you this evening, and I find it will be, I believe, good therapy. I want to give you an update on some things that we discussed last night, and I want to thank you for all your prayers. And all your well wishes regarding our friend, our dear friend Joe. So we have about 1,100 people in the studio tonight in the theater. And welcome one and all. My name is David Snedeker. This is the IndoctriNATION. We have certainly breaking news here. Quite often, we have a lot of insight into the things that are happening with the world around us, and we are also a community. More importantly than anything, we are a community of like-minded individuals, and by like-minded, I don't mean that we think alike necessarily. I mean that we think, period. And we think outside the box. We think for ourselves. We actually engage our brain in research and truth, and so we continue to explore new ways of gathering information, and also we are quite aware of the propaganda machine that permeates society. Permeates humanity around the world. And we are aware of a very small group of families, of people that are in control of this media. We're aware of the 1975 Church Commission, which told us that the CIA told us, William Colby told us that they had 400 agents in mainstream media in the late 60s and 70s. And so, yeah, we're going to go to that. Thank you, guys. The guy with the horns, I want to watch that and see if it's, is that updated? By the way, will you please check to make sure that that was dropped recently? Okay. And so, somebody, you're having some problems hearing me, guys. Anybody having problems? one of the things, Carla, it looks like you're having problems hearing me, but it looks like you're the only one. So please maybe go out and come back in. And Kalia says, over the next 2 months, can you please keep me and my family in prayer? Something major going on. I definitely need prayer to get through. Kalia, definitely. Am I making sure? Let me make sure I've got the right name on that. Well, it's flying by. Sorry. And so, no, can hear fine. No, you sound amazing. Great. Okay, thank you guys. So, so we're well aware of the reach that the CIA has into the mainstream media, and we've also been shown that by 17 drops multiple times. So that's our community of free thinkers, of those of us who are aware that there is a quite a conspiracy against humanity by those who have controlled this planet for a very long time. And so, therefore, we are wary of the things that they bring us. We are wary. Yes, please drop the prayer request on the group page. And also, you can do it through the webpage as well, the IndoctriNATION.com. You the man, Dave. Thank you, Billy. I appreciate you. And so we are awake. Yeah. And we have been chosen. Lisa says we're the chosen ones. I agree, because we've been chosen to accept this truth. We've been chosen, I believe, by God to spread this message and to also be aware of our surroundings at a level that many are not. And so, so welcome to this community. We are, I am David Snedeker. I am the head Sned, and this is the home of the Sned heads. So you are welcome here. The Sneds welcome you. And we do a process where we check our coat. And so we imagine we're coming in from a cold, wintry day, and it's windy and cold, and we come into a beautiful, warm theater, and we're not going to wear our winter coat. So we go to the coat check, we check our coat, we get our claim ticket. But we're imagining that coat contains all our preconceived notions, unconscious bias, and our ego. And anything that could get in the way, the indoctrination, anything that could get in the way from us downloading fresh information, anything that could get in the way of us opening our mind, opening our heart, and gathering new information so that we can process it properly. So please check your coat, grab your claim ticket. You can grab it on the way out. All your beliefs, all your systems are safe there, and you're not going to need them here, because we have the mod squad that are making sure that your First Amendment speech is protected. All we ask is that you open your mind and you be kind. Let me start with my dear friend Joe. He went to be with God at 1:15 a.m. my time and 4:15 a.m. his time. Your prayers were hitting all night last night, and his wife Jerry felt them. She felt strength. They had an incredible conversation for 45 minutes of memory, going down memory lane. And he closed his eyes fluttered, and he breathed in and breathed out for the last time. Another friend who was praying for him was praying to St. Joseph, because March is the month for St. Joseph. And she heard very clearly from Joe after he passed, you would not believe how beautiful heaven is. And so while we lost a dear friend, even much closer friend to my love, and great man, a great man. We lost a great man at 75. Joe is will forever be in our hearts, and And I just want to say that that Jerry thanks you for those prayers, and he was aware of those prayers, and I really am glad I came on last night, despite it being very difficult, because the Snedheads were in full force praying for a beautiful man, a beautiful human. And I believe in the power of prayer. And if you had asked me years ago when I envisioned this broadcast, this truth cast, if I would be praying during this truth cast, I would have said, no way. It's just not, my thing to do it publicly, to do it, on a public stage of any kind. But entering into this spiritual battle, this incredible, incredibly difficult war that we're in against Satan, I don't see any other way to do this truth cast than to end on a prayer, which we do almost every night. So Joe is a dear friend, and that my wife has known for since she was in high school. Former priest, and just who fell in love with a woman and left the priesthood and had an incredible life together with the woman of his dreams, and they are. She was very emboldened and strengthened by prayer and by all the love from all her friends, and he has gone to be with God. So thank you all for that. Much appreciated. And if you do have prayer requests, I know Bill Schultz is taking prayer requests on Facebook. I know we can do it at the Snedheads, the IndoctriNATION, the Snedheads fan page, and also you can put prayer requests in the webpage, theindoctrination.com. So thank you all. Okay, so shifting gears, it will be we will be going. I'm expecting to go at least a couple hours tonight to be with you, and then be back with my family. But I'm looking forward to getting into some things with you. And again, I want to thank you all for the prayers from my friend Peter, who beat cancer as of officially, I think, as of Sunday. And so we thank you for that, because that's been amazing as well. So, some are taken by cancer and some survive it, and we don't know why some do and why some don't. So I don't think we were meant to know. And I think there are a lot of things that we weren't meant to know. And a lot of the things that we talk about here, I think we aren't meant to know. And so, and I'm okay with that. I'm not, I used to be kind of a more, needed to be in control and do all that. But I will say that I've gotten away from that. I will tell you, you guys, let me shift into some other good news. That was Peter's good news. And thank you, Tammy. And so I want to show you something here, folks. Let me get to this. I'm having, still having some issues with things here. It's all good, but I want to take you to. I don't understand why the monitor is reading that one. So let me get you there here, and I'll get rid of the timer there. There we go, and the countdown. There we go. Okay, so let me take you to. This is a very special day for us. Because we are now, if you go to theindoctrination.com, go to shop, and we are live with the store, and I will show you what we've got here. You guys the t-shirts are here, the official logo t-shirt pre-order today. You've got lovely gray, white, and black. Choose your color or colors, and it's 100% cotton. This one actually is 90% cotton, 10% poly because it's heather. And down from 32.30, the final price is $29.45. And if you order 65 or more, you can get free shipping. Those are the t-shirts. The other thing that you can get is hoodies. Here's the hoodies, black and white. Okay, and $45.95. And also we've got the V-necks, which you requested. Here are your V-necks. There you go, gray and white. And then we have the tank tops as well. Okay, gray and white. And those are going to have a back on them. And the other ones are going to have a sleeve. And that will come, Rob is working on that. Rob is a fantastic individual and a Snedhead for over 7 months, who has put all this together and will be shipping out your orders. And we are basically doing a pre-order launch. And so I will also show you one more thing here. And that is that we also have mugs. And there's your mug, your TGA 2020 mug. What's TGA, you ask? What? The Great Awakening. There you go. Snedheads 2020. I know a lot of you came to me in 2020, and I also thought that that this is a very important year, also a very important time to where our vision became clearer. And so I wanted to commemorate these with the date that we all came together of 2020. And again, this is the kind of the beta launch of our store. And so have at it, and we'll have more stuff down the road. But I am just excited and honored to finally bring that to you. And I want to ask you, I want to say thank you for your patience. I wanted to do it right. I wanted to get shirts that were fantastic. And so, and they are so comfortable. This is one of them. This does not have the red, white, and blue magnifying glass, but that will be there. Okay, and very, very comfortable. The sizes are unisex sizes, right? So there, you also see a sizing chart on there, and the sizing chart you can go by and find the right size for you. So, so at any rate, I am honored to that you guys have wanted this for so long, and that you are. And here's your sizing chart right here, and you can let me bring you with me here. Let me just show you. This is the sizing chart down here, and you can see the you have extra small all the way up to 3XL. Okay, and so you can go by the side, the width, the length, the sleeve length, find your special size, and we'll go from there. And so yeah, so thanks for your patience, folks. And we'll have to get another shirt along the way that says "Make your own damn shirt" and things like that, and involve our team, Todd and Cindy, and yeah. And so I have to get the mods dialed in with a code so that I can get you a free T-shirt. And so so know that you've got that coming if you're a mod or admin or support here. So thank you all. All right. So how we all doing? A lot going on. Yeah. I want to get right into some things that are happening. First of all, let's go to, this just came across my desk, so I do not know how legit this is, but I'm going to play it for you, and then we'll
I
talk
certainly
about it.
hope that it did. It looks like it did. I mean, I am definitely Captain America, and I haven't been given that title lightly. Trust me on that. But part of the reason why I came forward in this way and caused a little quote unquote disruption in the Q community here is to get your guys' attention. Because whether or not you know it, whether or not you believe it, I am from the highest levels. I am talking to you on behalf of the highest levels of the government and the military. Okay. I, in particular, am working with the Navy. I've been a part of the Navy's Super Soldier program for quite some time. And I have been communicating with them regarding this quote unquote plan that has actually been in place for quite some time before the Q movement ever took place. Okay. And what I'm doing in this video is I'm bringing you the quote unquote plan that we have been asking you guys to trust for so long, and where you fit in it, why you fit in it where you do. And hopefully, this is a good enough relay of information to where we can really move forward as a civilization. Okay, I'm talking like.
Oh, damn it. Okay, this is a problem. Because I think playing this is a problem. First of all, I should have thought this through. This is not going to be welcomed by YouTube. I think we've already been kicked off YouTube. Let me see what's going on here. Because obviously they don't want him talking. Now, we know that there are no outside comps. So right off the bat, I saw him and I thought, and I'm hearing him talk, and I'm thinking, okay, they're not going to communicate to us in this way. There's no way that they're going to communicate to us in this way. So we had to stop that. Guys, am I still on YouTube? You still see me on YouTube? Okay, I'm not going to play that. We'll find a place to post this. Okay, but I also want to just be clear that that there are no outside comps. So I think anything that he would tell us would be very limited if he was in the know, and it would be much more cryptic. And the last I heard is that the prosecutors are trying to keep him behind bars. I do not want to silence this man, but I need to listen to that, and then I can share with you what something to the tune of what he said. Okay, without shutting us down. So we'll do it. Yeah, we could post it on Telegram. So yeah, Twitch canceled us for 30 days at least, I think. YouTube is still up. Great. Thank you, Christy. Okay, good stuff. All right. So he is the guy who, made it into, yeah, I thought it was an older video, Lynn, too. And that's why I wanted you guys to check. And because I think I have heard that as well. Okay. Air Force Vet 87 hoodie and t-shirt ordered. Gray large t-shirt was available. Awesome. Thank you, guys. And I see you guys are really hitting it up. That's pretty awesome. We already had a couple sales before it started. And Jessica Green, looks like you just ordered. Martha ordered. Let me see. Let's see. This is awesome. Okay. Let me see what you guys are crushing it. Thank you. Tammy Baumhart ordered before we started. Jessica, Barbara, Warren, Lighten Up All Over LLC. Love that. Kendall, Elaine, thank you. And you guys rock. Also from yesterday, Martha, Audrey, Sharon, Judith, thank you for your donation. Much appreciated. And so we are getting hit with a lot of disinformation, so we've got to certainly be careful about all of that. Yeah. And so that would be no exception. But let me take you to some things that are happening that are very poignant right now, and we'll go over some of this stuff together. Okay. This is very difficult what I'm having to contend with right now. So my apologies. I got to move everything over. But so the what we're experiencing right now is I want to talk about Mike Adams real quick. Okay, now Mike Adams has kind of given up hope, and there are many people that have given up hope on President Trump and the whole situation. And I want to tell you, I love Mike Adams. I've been listening to Mike Adams for a very, very long time. I believe he's a true patriot, and I believe that his intentions are noble. And he's also created Brighteon, which is a location, a site that we're going to go to, and in terms of a platform eventually. And so I just want to say thank you, Mike Adams, for everything you've done. I also exposed Mike Adams' seemingly lack of knowledge about 17. And the only reason I say that, I think he's a brilliant man, Mike Adams. The only reason I say that is because when he kind of gave up early on, like I want to say like a month ago maybe, and when he mentioned 17, it was obvious to me that he didn't know 17 like we know 17 here. And so I welcome that conversation with Mike. I would love to have him on. I'd be honored to have him on the broadcast. I also will stay true to the other options for guests on the broadcast, but I have been a little bit preoccupied. So I'm going to hopefully get to that this week. And but I just want to say this, that there are going to be people, and there have been people um, that there are going to be people that come out and say something, and they've gained credibility elsewhere with you or gained credibility through other topics, and they're going to speak to this topic that we are very familiar with, the 17 drops. And I would just offer to you, just be wary and just know that sometimes it doesn't mean their intentions are bad. It just means that maybe their information isn't as good as you thought it was, or their information isn't as good as it might have been for another topic on this particular topic. And but we do want to listen to people. Um, Proud Mama says the volume is down a little bit. Let me see if that helps. Please let me know if that helps. Yeah, Luann said the same, so that's obviously an issue. So let me know if that helped, folks, please, and I'll keep an eye on that. Yes, Christy is saying this is a marathon, not a sprint. Absolutely, absolutely. And so many people are trashing X22 in his comments. What do they say about X22 in the comments? What are they trashing him on? Yeah, and Owen, I am aware that Alex Jones and Mike Adams run in the same circles. They could both be controlled opposition. I don't think Mike is. I would be crushed if he was. But I understand that he could be, and we have to keep that possibility open. But I also will say that that sometimes people have good intentions as well, and raise it more. All right, let me try something here. Let me see. How about that? Is that any higher? No, that is not any higher. Let me see. Okay. No, I don't want that. I want this. Okay. I see that. And what is going on here? All right, testing, testing. A little bit louder. A little bit louder now. A little bit louder now. How's that, folks? Is that a little bit louder? A little bit louder? Okay. Now there's an echo. Okay, now I have an echo. I shouldn't have it now. I think I fixed that. And that should be a little bit higher, right? A little bit higher. Um, well, eh, Alex Jones is somebody that I've admired for a very long time because he was a part of my awakening. But Alex has also dumped on 17. Alex has also um, uh, taken a step away from the FFs that we all talk about. And so there's a question as to whether or not he's controlled opposition. So I put that information out to you folks so that you can do your own research, okay, and to also just kind of be question everything, question me, question everything, so that because the other thing here is that we must remember is that this isn't about finding the right person to spoon feed you, because that's been our problem, humanity's problem in the past and now, is that we're allowing to be ourselves to be spoon fed. And so whoever spoon feeds us can determine what they put on that spoon and put in our body. Okay? We cannot just be looking for somebody else to spoon feed us. We must also make sure that we are feeding ourselves. We're going and finding the right food that suits us and that is true and that is natural. And so I ask you to please, excuse me, please keep that in mind. This isn't about finding somebody else to spoon feed you. This is about taking another step. All right. Selena just bought a shirt. Thank you, Dave. Awesome. Darlene, you too. Awesome. Uh, and sometimes you look at X22 and people are concerned because X22 is pushing Bitcoin or what have you. So yeah, Bill says he may not agree with somebody, but by the way, we're going to die making sure that they have a voice. I would never, ever want to take a voice away from any human being. And that is just not okay. Right. And so for us, it's really about thinking for ourselves, right? Making sure that we're thinking for ourselves and activating those muscles in our mind. All right. So let me get to a couple things that I set aside for us tonight. I do want to, and I have to take care of this, but I do want to show you. Let me just pull this up. We have some executive orders that I am hopefully gonna get to because I've been talking about that for quite a while, and I want to take you to some things that have been coming across my feed on Facebook that I want to share with you as well. All right. So, all right. This was the biggest news is that Texas has Governor Abbott has come out and said that Texas is going to open up completely. Okay, as of March 10th. March 10th. Okay. Texas Governor Greg Abbott's announcement ending the 8-month-long statewide mask mandate and opening up Texas 100% makes it the largest state to lift orders intended to prevent the spread of COVID, period. Under no circumstances can a county judge put anyone in jail. This is Governor Abbott's quote. Under no circumstances can a county judge put anyone in jail for not following CV orders, and no penalties can be imposed for failing to wear a face mask. Today's announcement ensures Texans can tap into their own self-reliance to seize the opportunities our state has to offer. By next Wednesday, March 10th, all businesses can open at 100%. If restrictions are imposed at the county level, all entities must be allowed to operate at least a 50% capacity, according to Abbott. If businesses want to limit capacity or implement additional safety protocols, they have the right to do so. It is their business, and they get to choose how to operate their business the way they want to. Businesses don't need the state telling them how to operate. Abbott made the announcement from Lubbock on the same day Texas reported a new one-day record for the number of people receiving the shot, more than 216,000. With the shot increasing so rapidly, Texas will soon expand the categories of people who are able to get them, and some medical professionals say within a few months, every Texan who wants a shot will be able to get one. Okay, so now, I know, uh, Snedheads are for the most part aligned with me in terms of challenging any shot, much less the CV that is in an experimental stage. By the way, if you have information regarding the your particular health insurance, or your particular life insurance, if you can find a clause in there that says you cannot take experimental medication, please find that for me and send it to me at davesnet@gmail.com. And that, again, this is your particular what do you call it? Your contract, with the insurance company. Okay, your policy. That's the word I was looking for. And because we want to be aware of that, we want to question that, right? But here's the thing I've never thought I'd say this. Here's the thing that's good about the shot. The people that are in fear and the people that are begging for it have to have an option. Okay, it's kind of like, should we all be vegan? Okay, a lot of people think we should all be vegan, and many of those people think that the rest of us shouldn't be able to eat steak if we want. Is that okay? No, that's absolute fascism. That's tyranny, right? And yet it has been proven that tremendous amount of red meat can cause heart disease, can cause intestinal problems, right? Okay. So should we take meat away from people? No, because people need to be able to make their own decisions in life, right? And so we could go across the board and find many, high fructose corn syrup is horrible for you. It's diabetes in a bottle. And the diabetes in a bottle. So should we absolutely get rid of all of that? Well, some people want that, so give it to them. Let the marketplace determine what we do with our businesses. Yeah. But at the same time, this is where the First Amendment comes in. Okay. The mainstream media will not tell you how detrimental high fructose corn syrup is to you. The mainstream media will not tell you that there are risks when it comes to a shot. Okay? They will not tell you about the VAERS program that has paid out over $5 billion. All right? So that's where the First Amendment has to come in. And as long as we free up the First Amendment and we understand that there are very few people, very few families on this planet that control the information as it comes to us, okay? That the more we're aware of that, the more we're going to be seeking information outside of that. So we can't have the suppression of our First Amendment, because it's the First Amendment which is where we get our information so that we can make educated decisions, right? And so that's the key, right? That's the key. So that was huge. Okay. The other thing that was huge, and by the way, Mississippi is following suit. So now we have Florida, we have Texas, and we have Mississippi, right? And then we have what happened in New York today, and that is where is that story? And basically, Cuomo's powers are limited. Okay, and where did that go? Okay, and so legislature moves to lose shutdown Cuomo to lose shutdown power, but could still extend restrictions. Okay, um, legislature reaches an agreement on governor that is weakened by the scandal. Now, let me read a little bit of this. They reached an agreement to strip Cuomo of emergency powers granted to him during the pandemic, but leaves the door open for him to extend CV related restrictions, including limits on indoor dining. Roughly a year after expanding the governor's executive powers to oversee the state's pandemic response, the Senate and Assembly are moving to cut off the politically weakened governor. Okay. Um, the chambers are expected to approve a measure that would prevent him from issuing new directives, but would allow him to extend existing ones that manage the spread or reduction of CV-19, facilitate the shot process, or require use of face coverings. And so it's certainly a step in the right direction. Now, one of the things that bothers me a great deal, and I want to tell you about this, is that it's like going back to Clinton, right? I want to thank T. Jane Smith for bringing that to my attention first today. That was kind of cool. But I want to go back to President Clinton. Okay, when he was president, and that is all the things that he did, all the things that he and his wife were guilty of, and he gets impeached by the House for lying to Congress about whether or not he had sex with Monica Lewinsky. Okay, and I remember using the analogy back then. It's like getting a murderer, who he is and was. Getting a murderer, instead of going after them for the murder, we get them on jaywalking across the street to do the job. And that's what I'm feeling about Cuomo with some of these sexual harassment things. Oh, he kissed me on the cheek without me, being okay with it, and so forth. Now, does that demean his credibility? Yes, but it also takes our focus away from what we should be focused on, and that is the fact that he sent our greatest generation positive cases of CV back into the nursing homes from the hospital, and he forced the hospitals to release them into the nursing homes, and he forced the nursing homes to allow them. Okay, Montana is fully open. Thank you. I forgot about that. And by the way, what else is fully open? South Dakota. South Dakota never shut down. Okay. So yes, so it's growing, folks. It's absolutely growing, and I'm absolutely ecstatic for that. But I want us to focus on Cuomo and not lose focus. Okay, this whole, yes, was it wrong to make these advances to these women? Yes, but let's not. That's the sexy part. That's the part that the media can wrap their heads around and go after him to make us think that they're doing their job as reporters. They're not. They're not. This is the indoctrination smokescreen that they throw up so that we focus on those things. The tabloids focus on those things rather than the fact that he's a mass murderer. By forcing our greatest generation back into the nursing homes. Okay. And by the way, let us count the ways, enslaving humanity with their draconian laws that we just discussed just now. And how about what he and de Blasio have done with New York City by allowing, criminals to be released by not supporting the police. The list goes on and on and on. Okay. And speaking of the indoctrination, I want to go to a share by Christy White Lyons, who's just crushing it. By the way, Christy, you're doing great. And by the way, thank you too for your awesome post in the Snedheads on where people have how they first found me and when they first started listening. That was really special, and I want to get through all those and read all those and comment. But thank you for doing that. That was really great. And that's on, by the way, Snedheads, the Indoctrination. But this is a post that she shared in the 60s. The KGB did some fascinating psychological experiments. They learned, and by the way, this was using, okay, what they had discovered from Operation Paperclip. Okay, remember that Russia and the United States got the best and the brightest from Germany at the end of World War II. Okay, so make no mistake that all the advances in technology, much of it came from the Third Reich, and that's why I call what we're living in now the Fourth Reich. Many do that. I've done a video on that, and I'll try to pull that up for you. It used to be on the website. And by the way, if you want to look at some old shows that are still very, very poignant today, go to the website and look at the show index, and you'll see a lot of older shows that Barbara Russler tagged and logged, and also that Eric Swanson put together. So some great resources there. So they got all their. So let me finish reading and I'll tell you a little more about that. They learned that if you bombard human subjects with fear messages nonstop, in 2 months or less, most of the subjects are completely brainwashed to believe the false message, to the point that no amount of clear information they are shown to the contrary can change their mind. It's the reason that this came out of the MK Ultra program that we were exposed to, that humanity was exposed to by the military, by the CIA, to create assassins, information slaves, and sex slaves. And they would take people that had been physically, emotionally, or sexually abused as children. And by the way they found these is so many of them were in the military. They were military families. Much of the abuse occurred within the military. Or they found us through, remember all that standardized testing that we would do nationwide? They could tell based on your standardized scores and how you answered questions if you were physically, emotionally, or sexually abused. And then they would find those subjects, and then they would administer LSD and what's called neuro-linguistic programming, which was the MK Ultra program. Okay, and they would brainwash the subjects, but also implant messages. They would get them to go to different compartmentalized sections of their brain that they had created as children. God forbid a young girl hears her drunk father, coming home late at night, coming up the stairs, and she knows what's about to happen, some abuse, and she goes to this place in her brain that she can go to, get through it, and then come out of it, close that door, and go to school the next day and score well on her test. Not the test I was talking about, but you know what I mean. Just get through her day. So we've heard of multiple personality disorder. This would be compartmentalized personality disorder. That's actually what they're talking about with multiple personalities. I learned this firsthand from Walter Board. I told you this guy's story this many times. I've got his book here somewhere, Operation Mind Control, that I'll share with you. But but this was all MK Ultra, and KGB was doing it, and as was the United States of America, and so and we also knew also uh, from the gentleman Edward Bernays, who was the godfather of propaganda. We knew from him that this was the case. Goebbels learned from him. Hitler learned from he and Goebbels, and that's why they would repeat things over and over and over again to brainwash you. And so this is why they went with 24/7 CNN. This is why that you can watch CNN for an hour while you're at the gym and you see the same stories over and over and over again. Okay? That's the way this goes down, and that's the way they get you. That's why it's so important for us to have compassion for ourselves who have been subject to the indoctrination for a certain period of time of our lives, and also why we must be compassionate with others that are still asleep or still enslaved by this brainwashing, this indoctrination. Okay, so excuse me. So just wanted you to keep that in mind as we navigate this, right? Um, this is a story. I can't show the video, that'll kill us, but the CDC admits that at least 96% of CV deaths were counted wrong. This was reported by OAN, okay? And I don't want to show it because it'll flag us and get taken out. But if you want to look for the CDC, maybe we can find the article. Christy, will you see if you can find that article and drop it for me and show, please? And then yeah, so that's what we're doing right now. Is we are having to be careful what we say. And I will tell you this: I'm going to start doing, probably starting the broadcast on certain platforms, but then you have to go to another platform to get the meat, because that's the only way right now that we can do it without getting kicked off. Okay. I want to share something from Christy Korth, who's just amazing as well. She's thanking Dr. Drew for not being fear mongering, and Dr. Oz and Dr. Phil had the same thing, but then retracted their statements. They belong to Oprah. Explains it. Dr. Drew said, this was a tweet, this pandemic may have affected our children's education only by 1 year, but the psychological trauma we have placed on them may take upwards of 5 years to recover, if we're lucky. For some, and likely the most vulnerable, effects may be permanent. And I've said this for a long time, that we have to be adults here. We have to be the adults. We're the ones that have to really pay attention to what's going on here. Not just now, but putting our actions and our decisions into historical perspective. That's what's so important. It's so easy when you get emotional. That's right brain. When you get emotional and you react, but you're not able to survey the whole situation logically from your left brain because you've been put into this state of fear, maybe the fight or flight, the amygdala. And so what's really, really important to understand here is that that we need to take a step back, look at the situation without emotion, logically look at the situation, and then put that situation into historical perspective from the past to the present and into the future. That is a overall picture of what's going on, so that we can make good decisions and not knee-jerk reactions based on emotion. And what I just shared with you about the KGB and what the US military was doing is they were doing that because they knew that brainwashing was possible. They had to figure out how best to do it. And so repeating things over and over and over again. CNN, how many CV deaths? How many CV deaths? How many CV deaths? They had it on their screen all day long until their objective was met. Mr. Biden in the Oval Office, which he's not. Um, and so, but that is why they do that, is the fear, is to get us into fear. Okay. So keeping that in mind, it's so valuable to really get what this what this is all about and why they did this. And another from Christy here. Okay, they did not isolate a virus; they isolated you. And while this may seem an extreme picture here, okay, um, this is a child. This could easily be wallpaper on those walls. There could easily be a computer in that room. There could easily be, Captain America sheets on that bed. This could be the room of a child. But the point is that even with Captain America sheets, the child is isolated from their friends, from their grandparents, from their parents in some situations, and this is tragic. And so when Dr. Drew says what he said about, if they're lucky, it will be 5 years. I think that's being very wishful thinking, because this is something that is going to last, could have permanent effect on our population, on our youth. It can absolutely be tragic. Okay. And regarding this, and again, I'm gonna pick on Christy again here. She's doing awesome. Put the politicians on minimum wage, close down their businesses, deny them health care, isolate them, and watch how fast things change. Brilliant. Brilliant. And it looks like Stacey M. Payne posted that December 2020. And so that's what's happening, right? And this is it becomes very, very real, folks, when we realize that what's happening here. It becomes very, very real. Now, regarding the shot, okay, which is kind of the end game, I've shared with you for well over a year now, that the end game has always been the following. Let me just take you here. The 5-step CV jab risk benefit analysis that 7-year-old can understand. Will it stop me getting CV? No. Will it stop me spreading CV? No. Has it been long-term safety tested on humans? No. Have there been any deaths and injuries caused to date? Yes. Yes. Are the makers liable for any damage or injury caused? No. Nope. And so this is factual. Okay, this is not, I'm not making something up. I'm not saying that this is anything other than just 5 questions that should be asked by anybody that is considering getting the shot. That's all. That's all. Nothing more, nothing less. That's all. Just 5 questions that I think we should ask. In addition to those questions, okay, what's in it? What's in the shot? I mean, people will pour over an ingredient list on a box of brownie mix, and yet they won't read an insert for a shot that could be life-altering, life-changing. That doesn't make any sense. But of course, not much does it? Right? Um, so this is, you know, what we're dealing with here is very, very,
Around the same time,
very important, and I want to share this with you as well. This was originally from Michael Brailer. Thank you, Michael. You're doing some great work, and shared by Nicola Garrett, so who's also doing some incredible work, spreading incredible information. I mentioned to you, well, I've been talking about this for a long time, but I just brought it up the other night, which is maybe why Michael or Nicola may have found it, but about how this all started. And I think it's a very important thing to see. And
around the same time that
let
John
me
D.
play it
Rockefeller
for you here.
seized U.S. media, he also hijacked U.S. medicine. When it was discovered that drugs could be produced from petroleum, America's top oil mogul ordered his army of propagandists to invert reality accordingly. Medicines used for thousands of years were suddenly classified as alternative, while the new, petroleum-based, highly addictive, and patentable drugs were declared the gold standard. After buying a German pharmaceutical company that manufactured chemicals of war for Adolf Hitler, Rockefeller leveraged his political influence by pressing Congress to declare natural healing modalities unscientific quackery. Rockefeller then took control of the American Medical Association and began offering massive grants to top medical schools under the mandate that only his approved curriculum be taught. Any mention of the healing powers of herbs, plants, and diet was erased from most medical textbooks. Doctors and professors who objected to Rockefeller's plan were crucified by the media, removed from the AMA, and stripped of their license to teach and practice medicine. Those who dared to speak out were arrested and jailed. When evidence began to emerge that petroleum-based medicines were causing cancer, Mr. Rockefeller founded the American Cancer Society, through which he suppressed that information. John D. Rockefeller is duly credited as the founder of the pharmaceutical industry, and the reason that medical error is currently the third leading cause of death in America. This is not an indictment against doctors. More than anyone, they are under the stranglehold of the single largest lobbying power in Washington. Every year, the pharmaceutical industry spends at least twice the amount as big oil to influence laws, policies, and public perception. Thanks to Mr. Rockefeller, the architect of American monopolies, no industry has more power over our lives than Big Pharma.
That's from plandemicseries.com, freedomplatform.tv, Plandemic. This is, that was so brief and so brilliant, that, and by the way, just something to remember here, folks, is that John David Rockefeller was a horrible human being. He murdered his own workers in a strike out in Colorado, I believe it was. And it's known as, what's the massacre, folks, that he caused? Like women and children too. Okay. And so this is something that you really need to understand, that Rockefeller was a horrible human being. And this is the guy that took over modern medicine. This is the guy that took over the pharmaceutical industry. He used his oil, the whole thing. It's just tragic. And but again, this is all factual evidence that you can research yourself. Don't take my word for it. Go look up John David Rockefeller. Find out more about him, okay? And you will be blown away. I want to share this information. This is Johnson & Johnson has planned trials of its shot that will include infants. Okay. Not only do you have to question why should adults be taking this, because of the sheer numbers of what's going on here. But infants and children are not getting this in any level of significance. The immunity in children is so strong that they are just knocking this out of the park. Okay. Um, they plan to test it in infants and even in newborns, as well as in pregnant women and in people who have compromised immune systems. Okay. Now, if this is your thing, if this is a direction you want to go, again, you should have the choice. Okay. But it also, Darwin talked about survival of the fittest. And if there's anything out of Darwin's work that I respect, and there's not much, by the way, not much at all. He was, yeah. But it would be that survival of the fittest, and that there will be those that don't survive. Excuse me, for lack of physical ability, lack of mental ability, okay, mental capacity. And so there will be people that will be called from the earth, because that's what many of this is all about. But again, I do not give medical advice. I do not recommend one way or another. What I am doing is I'm preventing you from not getting your information. I am making sure that you have information as to what's going on, and that with my ability to question it, that maybe I can set an example on how maybe you can question it. And I'm not saying question it so that you're like, no, I'm never doing that, or I'm not doing that, but question it in the sense that you're actually going to actually challenge what we're being told, and find out the truth for yourself. Okay, find out the truth for yourself. Folks, we are at 2,600 beautiful humans in the Snedeker Theater. I just want to share with you, for those of you who came in late, that we are live with the Sned store, okay, the Snedheads merch store. And here it is, the official logo t-shirt pre-order today, okay? That's also going to have a print on the sleeve that says The Great Awakening, Snedheads 2020. The Great Awakening, Snedheads 2020, because I wanted this particular shirt to be a time capsule, if you will, okay, of what we've gone through in 2020. Because to me, and I've said this multiple times before, to me, this particular year, 2020, was so absolutely pivotal in the awakening of human history, the minds of humans. This is the hoodie. I've had this hoodie on. It's fantastic. It's 50-50. But it's tough to find a hoodie 100% cotton, but it feels like cotton. Like I'm a snob for that kind of thing, and it feels like cotton, and it's very comfortable. These are the V-necks, okay, and these are also the tank tops, okay, and the tank tops will have on the back of them the Snedhead 17. That's not on there yet. And here's your mug, the Great Awakening mug. Okay, awaken with your coffee, with your tea, with your favorite beverage, maybe some Bailey's in there. Who knows? And you'll see also the back of this, or the other side, the Great Awakening Snedheads 2020. That is actually what's going to be on the arm sleeve of the T-shirt as well. Okay, so many of you have already ordered. Thank you for that. And go check that out, please. And check it out. We're getting some good news, folks. More and more and more, we're hearing about, here's Operation Broken Hearts, 37 child sex predators arrested in undercover human trafficking sting in Arizona. Why is this so significant? First of all, 37 child sex predators, okay, that are arrested, okay, by Homeland Security under this program, but also, um, let me see, they were targeting sexual predators engaged in child sex crimes and human trafficking. Throughout the operational period, officers and undercover detectives placed ads on websites and apps which are commonly sought out by suspects seeking illegal sex acts with children. These 37 suspects solicited and or brokered deals for various sex acts and were subsequently arrested. Each year, these agencies come together to conduct operations of this type in a continuous effort to reduce the demand that fuels child and human sex trafficking from our communities. These suspects in the latest operation ranged in age from 21 to 66 years old. Now, so we're hearing more and more about these kind of stories popping up, all right? And we're eradicating these people from our planet. And that is a very good thing. And they're getting bigger and bigger and bigger. So, and the other thing I wanted to mention of Arizona is the new law. I don't know if I have it. That for sex trafficking and also pornography, excuse me. Let me see. This was okay. First of all, Arizona recognized January of 2021 as Human Trafficking Month. Okay. And then let me see. And it's now you could get life in prison. Life in prison for human trafficking or child pornography. And so this is shifting, folks. Do you feel the shift? There's so many things that it's important to realize that we just need to pay attention to different things if we're depressed about what's going on. Okay, we just need to. I couldn't find that, but it's out there. This is a great drop by John McNamara, who's doing some great stuff out there, Johnny. Chelsea Clinton complains that her grandmother did not have access to Planned Parenthood. Wow. Wow. That's very interesting. And my comment was I complain about that as well. And John, like John said, imagine how many more people would be alive if her grandmother did have access to that exact thing. Okay. I want to say a few things, few pieces of information. By the way, I don't think Todd and Cindy are going to be with us tonight because Todd was not feeling well. So send your prayers and thoughts his way. And so Cindy was doing the Healy with him earlier tonight. So, the other thing too is I wanted to share with you. I'm out, like I'm playing football in the sand. I'm playing basketball with the kids. I'm playing with my coworkers, and I'm fairly active. I go hiking here in the mountain. I'm fairly active. I'm not going to say that I'm crazy active, but I've been fairly active over the past 3 weeks or so. And I'm getting more and more. I'm trying to just get a little healthier. And then the other night, I nicked my knee on the handle of our what do you call it? Our kitchen cabinet, and my knee swelled up like you wouldn't believe. And so I've been limping around. And but I will tell you that I've been using the Healy. Wow, what a difference! What a difference that I'm finding after putting the pain on for few. So guys, if you're looking for that sale has been extended till the end of April. So please check out the website, check out Market, and check out the Healy, or reach out to us, and we'll get back to you. It's been amazing since I started using that. So it is real. It is an FDA certified pain device, pain mitigating device. So I just want to go to your chat here a little bit, see what you guys are up to, see what you're saying. Ordered a T-shirt, awesome. Let me see. On Telegram, I think it was Charlie Ward. They had a great list of natural things to help you if you get the shot out of your body. I would also recommend seek out a naturopath, and there's a lot that you can do with their. And excuse me. There's also a process called chelation therapy. I don't know much about it, but a friend of mine who's a doctor, she does it here in LA, and it's very popular to get heavy metals out of your body. Also, Stephanie Dawn, who is my sponsor in Purium, which is another incredible product on the marketplace. Stephanie did a water cleanse, 21-day water fast, just water in Mexico, and said she had a huge heavy metal detox, which was amazing. And so there's ways to get the metals out and so forth. So thank you. Christine, thank you for your prayers. Thank you. Excuse me. Let's see. Elaine, can't wait to get your Healy Thursday. It's going to be here Thursday. Awesome. Well done. Does Healy work on arthritis? Yes. It works on the whole body. And it kind of helps with a lot of things. It's all based on the frequency. Like Tesla talked about healing yourself with frequency and vibration, and that's what it works on. And so it's really amazing. A lot of testimonials on it. So you can reach out to me at davesned@gmail for more information. Okay, so we need car magnets. Okay. Kathy, we'll put that. I'll put that on the list. We need car magnets for. That's a great idea, actually. I love that. Okay, that'll be the next step. Thank you for that. Excuse me. Bumper stickers. Okay, we can do that as well. Awesome. Victoria, we have chemtrails here. How do I get rid of them? Well, the trails themselves, we don't have a way to get rid of that right now. That's got to be from higher up, but we're working on that. And what I thought I had coming to you tonight will probably be Thursday night, and I'm working on it with Christine Ance Taylor, and we're going to have something for you on Thursday, I think, on how we can engage more effectively together. So we'll do more on that. Linus, do you have allergies, Dave? Thank you for asking that. I think I figured out, first of all, wheat. I have a wheat intolerance, which, as Stephanie will tell you, because her experience with Purium products is that it's not a wheat intolerance, it's a glyphosate intolerance. Glyphosate is the chemical that is sprayed. It's the pesticide that's sprayed on our food, and therefore it gets in, especially wheat was the first product that was A, sprayed with glyphosate, and B, also genetically modified. But the glyphosate gets in our system and it disrupts our second brain, which is our stomach. And that's also why we believe that the bee colony has declined in population significantly, because the glyphosate messes up the stomachs of the bees as well. And so I'm allergic to that. So I don't do wheat. And sometimes I will do it if it's from Europe, where they don't use GMO. They don't use these kind of pesticides. If it's an organic, I can't do organic wheat from the US. And also, yeah, pesticides, Randy, are killing the bees. No question. I kind of, did you see how I kind of pulled back on that a little bit? Like I wasn't blasting it, because I want you guys to really look into this stuff for yourself. And I don't want you to just take what I'm telling you. Because if you looked into the bee colony as I have, you would know that glyphosate is the problem. And so, the other thing is that there is so going to that, and then the other thing that I think I may be allergic to dairy now. Not well, have some kind of allergy because I had cheese at lunch, and I think I'm still having a little something here. So thank you for asking for that, but it also opened up the conversation for something more. Decoder ring, Terry. Oh my God. Decoder ring. That would be fantastic. We got to figure that out. 5G is also killing the bees, birds, and ants. But here's the thing: the bees were being killed before 5G was around. But also Wi-Fi and cellular were around as well. So that could be a big thing. Yeah, raw cheese and raw milk, Cindy. We do that at times. I didn't have raw today, so I need to go back to raw and see if that's causing the problem. So nut milk, I do nut milk and oat milk as well. Yeah, dairy coats the throat. So Wendy for hey, I got diagnosed with MS. I stopped gluten. Does make me feel better. Awesome. Why didn't Trump get rid of Monsanto? Well, okay, we got a lot to talk about with that. But there's, here's the thing. If you boil down the real problem, is it more important to stop the trafficking of children and humans? Let's focus on that. I think he has been focused on that, and then we can pick our battles later. But he's still there. He's still active. So this isn't over. This is far from over. Okay. Anything carbonated will help clear your throat, Dave. Thank you. Yes, I will. That's a good idea for me to have a carbonated beverage in here. And by the way, as I work through this, I appreciate your patience in dealing with my okay. So thank you. Thank you for that. So what is Dave's Telegram? David Snedeker and also the IndoctriNATION. We're not quite active on there yet, as I know you guys know, but please go and connect with me there because we're about to go into it. We're about to get into it quite a bit here. Okay. Let's see. Let me get back to a few things here that I want to show you, and I want to get to some of the and I think I have that ready to go almost. And let me there we go. We're going to go over some executive orders here in a second. And I wanted to share this. This is from Christiana Dominique. And she says, the truth is still the truth, even if no one believes it. A lie is still a lie, even if everyone believes it. These are the kind of things that we need to remember when we're caught up in this madness of our current society. Yeah. I wanted to share this again. Christy White Lions crushing it. November 2nd, 2020, oil prices $36.81. February 24th, 2021, oil prices $63.36. Come on, man. Come on, man. Yeah, that's the kind of thing that maybe will wake up some people. What do you think? What do you think? Do you think that fake Biden is waking up some people? That was originally from Jill Gilmore. Thank you for that. Yeah, I think it will. I think it will wake some people up, and that's why we need fake Joe in there so that we can figure this all out. And this is a story where Let me see. This is very, very troubling. Okay, and this is. Let me do a different one here. This is going to blow your mind if you didn't hear this one. Okay, let me get the news here. It's disappeared. The Minnesota National Guard in D.C. Here it is, finally. National Guard at the Capitol that are there, to protect our, leaders from us. No, they're not there for that. Hospitalized after eating substandard food, metal shavings, feathers found in meals. They're literally giving them food that has not been cooked thoroughly. And it is very dangerous. And there was a whistleblower from the National Guard who actually came out and said this. And they've even found metal shavings in the food. Okay. Members of the Michigan National Guard reported, when I thought it was Minnesota, that's why it wasn't coming up. Michigan National Guard in D.C. reported metal shavings, feathers, and undercooked meat found in substandard meals, a potential readiness risk that has hospitalized troops. So not only did Pelosi and Congress relegate the National Guard troops to a parking garage, to a freezing cold parking garage. That has since been changed, I believe. I don't know. I'm not there. But they were also giving them bad food. And not just bad food, but tainted food and food that is meant to hurt them. Okay? It is completely unacceptable that our men and women serving in Washington, D.C. are being hospitalized due to the food they are being provided. We request that either the current contract be voided and a new food provider be brought in, or that the service members be provided with a per diem throughout the remaining time in Washington, D.C. 59 had wide-ranging gastrointestinal issues because of food consumed at the Capitol. Some of the troops managed their conditions in their quarters. Others required a hospital diagnosis. So this is the letter that is being put out there to stop this nonsense. From Congress. Okay, and but right now, unfortunately, what they're doing right now is they're eating MREs. MREs are food that you have to eat like out in battle, folks. This is not something you want to have your servicemen eating while they're in their own country. This is like supposed to be out in the battlefield. Okay. So this is disgusting that this is going on, and this should tell you again that look at all this stuff. Look at all this stuff that's happening, folks, and ask yourself: is this a movie? Is this a movie? Okay. Tara Taylor, only in 2021, America, do they cancel Dr. Seuss, but not Dr. Fauci. Okay. Dr. Seuss being canceled, folks, you've got to be kidding me. This is the kind of wackiness that we're dealing with right now. Because Dr. Seuss is not inclusive or is racist, folks, this is the kind of thing that is being done. Make no mistake about it. Christy, I just see your order here. Congratulations. Helen, thank you for your order. Fantastic, guys, that you guys are getting your gear on. That's pretty awesome. I love to see this. Love to see the Snedheads. Julia Johnson, Jeffrey Miller, Buttons, Bows, and Yo-Yos, Robin Bolser, Terry Prosser, Leonard Isirka, Joan Miller, Judy Powell, Beth Hill, God bless you. I'm buying you one, Beth. Mark Moore, Laura Peterson, Lisa Gaffney, Carol Eck, Christine Champagne, Mabel Ingram, Deanna Harlett, Selena Langford, Lori Hafner, Rachel Nicole Weaver, Elle Bounds, Deborah Kashow, Rebecca Helms, Julie's Custom Embroidery, Pen and Mouse Design, Jessica Green, Tammy Baumhart again, Barbara Fry, Warren Thomason, Lighten Up All Over LLC, Kendall Boatwright, Elaine Steiger, Tammy Baumhart, Baumhart, sorry. Fantastic, guys. Thank you. Amazing. Amazing. As you know, this is this is going to be a huge boost and help to the Truthcast. Going to help us to get on other platforms and so forth. So you can also, if you want to buy somebody a shirt or you want to donate, you can do that as well. And anybody that wants to donate for an extra shirt, what we'll do is we'll put that in kind of a raffle. So if you want to do that, you can put like the price of a shirt down. You can put it in a separate thing, and we can put that in a raffle so that we can give away some stuff to some beautiful Snedheads. Awesome. So I want to, let me see, excuse me. I want to offer, Barb, I don't know if you're able to or not, but Barbara Ann Heron, but if you'd like to call in and go over the Watch the Waters with me, we can do that tonight, but we can also do it Thursday if you'd like. But if you want to call in, you are welcome to call in on the, excuse me, on the messenger. There's the Indoctrination, David Snedeker Truthcast, check your coat, established 1871. But the black one, excuse me, see, this is what's going on. The black one will, Tracy Spaeth, thank you. The black one will absolutely have the colored flag. The black one will have the colored flag. So you're welcome to call in if you'd like. If not, we can do it another time. And I will do some of your stuff tonight anyway because it's awesome. But I'll hold off on that for now in case you do. Excuse me. Let's see. Tessie Reyes was saying that they were getting a National Weather Service, and the alarms were going off everywhere, and yet they had blue skies. Like there were a tornado warning. Take shelter now in a basement or an interior room, and the lowest floor of a sturdy building. If you're outdoors in a mobile home or in a vehicle, move to the closest substantial shelter and protect yourself from flying debris. Check media. So that was from Tessie. So she's going to keep us posted on that. But just that the concern was they're getting. Then I think they came out later and said it was a test, but they didn't tell them it was a test during, which is kind of crazy. And we're also going to go over some deltas here shortly. So I wanted to make you know about that. Excuse me. Oh, here it is. So this was a tweet, and this was what I was looking for earlier. This was from Sonia Cochran here, and this is from Representative Leo Biasucci. My bill, HB 2889, passed the Arizona House 51-1 today. If you're convicted of a child sex crime, sex trafficking, child pornography production, distribution, etc., you're going to prison for life. Arizona is ready to put an end to human sex trafficking. That is huge. Thank you for sharing that. That's what I was looking for earlier. Thank you, Sonia. That is huge, folks. That's a big deal. That's a big deal. Excuse me. Wow, this has got this is really gotten bad. Okay. Let me see. What else do I want to show you here? Okay. Let me share this with you. This was by Tracy Spaeth, who just donated, and Michael Brailer shared it. And I wanted to share this because I have spoken to you about this numerous occasions, and I started to go into it earlier tonight. And because what I was saying to you a year ago was that the Hegelian dialectic is being used to manipulate society. And let me just read this to you. Hegelian dialectic: problem, reaction, solution. The first step, thesis, is to create, and this is, by the way, from John Hegel, Hegel. He was a philosopher in the mid 19th century. I think 1870, possibly. And he created the Hegelian dialectic. He discovered it. Problem, reaction, solution. The first step, thesis, is to create a problem, okay? But it's really not the first step. The first step is that you have in your mind, or you have at your disposal, a solution that strengthens your situation. So if I'm a mayor, if I'm a politician, if I'm a businessman, I come up with a solution that will benefit me. Okay, once I have that solution in mind or actually set up, then I go and I create a problem. Okay. The second step, the antithesis, is to generate a reaction or opposition to the problem: fear, panic, and hysteria. So you have the problem, and then in the middle you have the reaction to that problem, right? And then at the end you have the solution that you've already established. I may have done that wrong. Forgive me, I'm going back and forth. Problem, reaction, solution. The third step, synthesis, is to offer the solution to the problem created by step one, a change which would have been impossible to impose upon the people without the proper psychological conditioning that is now achieved in stages 1 and 2. Okay? So they have to get us on board with these things, and this is how they do it. That's why FFs are so popular, because they create this huge problem. I'm sorry, they know the solution they want, so they go and create this problem. And then remember, they control the media, so they manipulate the reaction to this problem. When our rulers see a result they would like to have, whether it be increased domestic authoritarian rule, think of all the current hot button issues being generated about race, gender, guns, free speech, PC, health, and privacy. By the way, be aware of a potential FF, because they want to push the gun control agenda. Yeah. Or a war abroad that solidifies their power, dominance, and control. All they have to do is devise a problem that will lead to the outcome they want. This is commonly done through false flag events and attacks where the government of the nation, let me pull this up so you guys can read along with me. I'm sorry, thought I had that. Attacks itself so that it can respond in the way that it had wanted to all along, because it's only through those attacks where citizens will ultimately give in and agree to the planned solution. We want to think that there is no way this could be allowed to happen by our own government, but can we really be so sure? So thank you for that, Tracy and Michael, for sharing that. The so the thing about this is that when you understand that you need the public's buy-in, then you don't just force it upon them. You create an event that gets them on board. January 6th. Yeah, January 6th. What happened there? Okay. Weapons of mass destruction to get us into the Iraq War. Okay. 9/11 to get us into the war on terror, never ending, just like 1984, the war that never ended. 1984 meaning the George Orwell novel. Eric Blair, former Fabian Society member, along with Aldous Huxley. So these people, they created this war against Iraq. They created this war in Afghanistan from an event that got you and me on board. I was one of them. I wanted to go into Afghanistan. I wanted to get Osama bin Laden. I wasn't not quite awake then. And so many of us are still there, right? Todd and Cindy are probably not going to be on tonight because Todd was not feeling well. So we're giving them a night off, and we'll be back with them on Thursday. So this is the Hegelian dialectic. The war in Vietnam, that was the Gulf of Tonkin. The Gulf of Tonkin was never, the USS Maddox was never fired upon. So these are all situations that were created. Okay. And one of the Hegelian dialectic for this whole pandemic was to do the following. Okay. The solution that they wanted, okay, was the following. Trump out of office. Okay. How do we do that? Trash the economy, because any incumbent president in a good economy is going to be reelected. That's historically been proven. So we're going to trash the economy. Okay. We're going to force mail-in voting. And because we can control that, we can cheat in that mail-in voting. Okay. We're going to have the population beg us for a shot, and then we're going to tag those people in a way that they can prove that they were vaccinated. And so that was the solution that they wanted. So they created the Wuhan plague, the Wuhanic plague, the Chinese virus. And how did they amp up that tragedy? How did they amp up that level of hysteria? Well, they had 5 governors in 5 states. All right. Cuomo, New York, Wolf, Pennsylvania, New Jersey, I'm forgetting his name, Whitmer, Michigan, Newsom, California. Washington was included in that because that's where it started. They put COVID patients, positive patients, back into the nursing homes from the hospitals. They forced the nursing homes to comply with this. And that's where they ramped up all those numbers, because you put that kind of a thing, you put a flu into that situation, you're going to have the same effect. You put pneumonia into that situation, you're going to have the same effect. And so they basically killed off our greatest generation in those nursing homes. That people that went there to spend their last days in peace and quiet, and playing cards and watching television and engaging with their fellow elderly, beautiful humans. And no, we had to take that away from them because they needed to create this hysteria. They used the Imperial College numbers. which was funded by $79 million by Bill Gates. They used the University of Washington numbers, which was funded by Gates. They used the Johns Hopkins numbers, which was funded by Gates. Okay. They used WHO, which is funded by Gates. They used UN. They used CDC to ramp up, to hype this up. They gave the hospitals money. They gave them $13,000 for every COVID case, for every CV. They gave them $38,000 for every CV case that was put on a ventilator. They gave them 40-some thousand if they died on a ventilator. Ventilators, over 90% of all people put on ventilators died, not because it was the end of this CV, but it was the wrong treatment. The Western medicine community will not survive CV because they're being discredited every day that we are cooped up, every day that we are masked, every day that we are having our freedom stripped away from us, every day that another business fails. Western medicine loses credibility. I told you a year ago that HCQ was proven by a doctor, I forget his name right now. If you remember, please drop it in the comments, who sent a video to President Trump, and I showed you that video. And he said, I've treated over 600 patients with HCQ, and it works. And I was telling everybody, I was telling you, I was putting it out there. We got shut down because I was telling you. Okay. And then they bashed it. They didn't mention it. They didn't talk about it because it came from Trump and because it was the shot killer. Because if you take something that's cheaper than aspirin that knocks it out, why would you have to have a shot developed? Why would you have to have warp speed, Operation Warp Speed, and all that? This was the greatest hoax perpetuated on humanity. Did people die from it? Absolutely. Absolutely. God rest their soul. God protect their families, be with their families. Yes. But people die of things every day, and there were fewer deaths of humanity in the United States in the 2020 than any 10 years prior to that. So this was the Hegelian dialectic to get their end game accomplished. And they did. But they didn't. They were shown that they did win, but in actuality they didn't. They didn't. HCQ, why would anybody be afraid of HCQ? It's been used for 60 years without any side effects for malaria. And it's the reason why Africa had that and ivermectin, why they have so few cases. Now, I am not a doctor. I am not prescribing it. I am not suggesting that this is going to save your life. I am suggesting that you look into it because now the American Journal of Medicine has come out and they have said, excuse me, that it is now good for, let me see. Here we go. This was just... The Brazilian government continues to tout HCQ. The Brazilian government continues to tout HCQ as a cure-all for prevention and preventative for CV. The government quotes an article printed in the AJM in January 2021, but written and accepted more than 6 months earlier and posted on the PubMed website at the time. This article was accepted for publication at a time when scientific information concerning prevention and management was rapidly evolving. The article begins by emphasizing the importance of preventative measures, including facial covering, sanitization, and quarantining. The authors then discussed 8 agents or groups of agents that have shown in vitro or possible clinical activity against various CVs, including severe acute respiratory syndrome, CV2, SARS-CoV-2. Subsequently, a number of these agents, including HCQ, have been shown to be ineffective or harmful in preventing or treating infection of SARS-CoV-2. The AJM is one of the publications to call attention to this evolving scientific information. Despite these new data, the government of Brazil continues to cite the prestigious American Journal of Medicine as proof that HCQ can prevent or treat it. In other words, the Brazilian government claims that AJM had given a seal of approval to use of HCQ. Nothing could be further from the truth, but I read the article. So they're getting pushback. Okay? They're basically pulling back from this, because this was, I think, February 17th, okay, whereas the article was in January of 2021, and they did talk about the success of HCQ, okay? If you guys want to send that to me, that would be good. But they did absolutely talk about how it was effective in the treatment of CV. So I'm not giving medical advice. What I'm telling you is that it is that the American Journal of Medicine has said that they have found success with it. So I'll get you that exact article. From Tori Carlone, Ben Irvine, people who don't want the shot aren't refusing it. You don't say a person is refusing to take antidepressant or refusing to get married. You can decline without refusing. You decide what's best for you. Refuse is a manipulative term loaded with unfair moral pressure. Very well said, Ben. I agree with you tremendously. Again, if that is something that you want for you and your family, all the love and all the peace I can muster is on its way to you. This is not something. I'm not a doctor. I don't prescribe. I don't dictate what you should or should not do. And this is for you to look into more effectively. Okay. Awesome. Yeah. A lot of people are doing it. And yeah, we just got to know what we're doing. Let's see. This was the Gateway Pundit article that was just dropped by Lisa. Hi, Lisa. And I want to share this. The CDC was exposed, inflated COVID deaths by 1,600% throughout the election, violated multiple federal laws, peer-reviewed study finds, state local governments must act. This was by Patty Murray, published February 9th this year. 100% fed up reports throughout the election. Donald Trump was battered by CCP virus statistics in order to hurt the American economy and his political campaign. And they used that, by the way, not only just obviously the environment, the economy and all that, but they actually used that he was responsible for the elevated deaths when he was the one that stopped travel from China and from Europe, and saved countless lives by taking it seriously when Pelosi was trying to get us all to go down to Chinatown. The mayor of one of the Italian cities was saying "hug it Chinese." That was literally his words. And New York, they were talking about come to Chinatown. I forget the assembly member that was talking about that. And so, excuse me. That is something that we understand, by the way, that is completely manipulated, his reaction to it, to try to make him look bad, right? It was shamelessly wielded as a political weapon to prevent Trump and his supporters from rallying as Antifa and Black Lives Matter burned progressive, poor minority neighborhoods to the ground throughout the entire year. Now that Biden has been installed into the office of president, he promises to increase COVID lockdown measures and extend them further into your ability to travel and force unscientific mask wearing for at least 100 days. This is why these states are, basically taking control here, because they're going to tell the federal government that you're not going to, keep us from doing this. The total fatalities using guidelines published by the CDC on March 24th, 2020, exclusively for CV19, put us at 160,000. Total fatalities using CDC guidelines in use for 17 years prior to March 24th, 2020 for CV19, 9,684. Look at the difference in numbers. Okay. The peer-reviewed study has been released that finds the CDC numbers to be so wildly unsupported as to be pure propaganda that is based on wholly unscientific practices that were needlessly created on the spot. CDC is heavily funded by the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. This is the Science, Public Health Policy, and the Law, an Institute for Pure and Applied Knowledge. I've seen this before. IPAC. Data Collection, Comorbidity, and Federal Law, a Historical Retrospective. Okay. According to the CDC, on August 23rd, 2020, for 6% of the deaths, COVID was the only cause mentioned. For deaths with conditions or causes in addition to CV19, on average, there were 2.6 additional conditions or causes per death. Excuse me. So those are called comorbidities. For a nation tormented by restrictive public health policies mandated for healthy individuals and small businesses, this is the most important statistical revelation of this crisis. This revelation significantly impacts the published fatalities count due to CV19. More importantly, again, folks, I'm just reading you some news that has come out. This is not necessarily the stance by me or anybody of this organization, because we have been shut down for medical misinformation. So I'm not giving you medical misinformation. I'm telling you some information that is out there. I'm reading that so that you can do your own homework. Okay. This is a peer-reviewed study, which I think has some validity to it. More importantly, exposes major problems with the process by which the CDC was able to generate inaccurate data during a crisis. The CDC has advocated for social isolation, social distancing, and personal protective equipment use as a primary mitigation strategies in response to CV19 crisis, while simultaneously refusing to acknowledge the promise of inexpensive pharmaceutical and natural treatments. They did not talk about vitamin D. They did not talk about sunshine, fresh air. They did not talk about vitamin C. These are all things that naturally have been proven to build your immunity. Whether or not that helps you against CV19 should be left up to you, the parents, responsible adults, as to figure out for yourself. But they don't mention that. And also they didn't mention the HCQ and the ivermectin. These mitigation strategies were promoted largely in response to projection model fatality forecasts that have proven to be substantially inaccurate. These people were saying there were going to be 2 million deaths in the United States, like in the first 6 months. And these numbers were wildly exaggerated. Wow, that was a tough one. I don't know why. And Ferguson, who is the guy at the Imperial College, okay, has been wrong countless times. Further investigation into the legality of the methods used to create these strategies raised additional concerns and questions. Why would the CDC decide against using a system of data collection and reporting they authored and which has been in use nationwide for 17 years without incident in favor of an untested and unproven system exclusively for CV-19 without discussion and peer review? Did the CDC's decision to abandon a known and proven effective system also breach several federal laws that ensure data accuracy and integrity? Did the CDC knowingly alter rules for reporting cause of death in the presence of comorbidity exclusively for CV-19? If so, why? They get into it here, okay? This is a big one. This is jdfor2020.com, okay? This is where you can find this. I'm gonna put it here, copy it, and I'm gonna put it in the chat for you here. There you go. It's under restream.io, okay? And there you go. Are the lights off at the White House tonight? I don't know, but every night at 11 o'clock they have been, haven't they? Right? They have been. Hilarious. All right, let me just. Oh, I'm sorry. Is that in the screen? Oh boy, that would have been embarrassing if I couldn't pull that one off. Okay, little tomato sauce there. All right. Oh, yeah. See, that way I'm able to secure my usefulness around the house here. That's nice to be able to do. Okay. Couple things. Sue Nelson, thank you. Anita Henderson, awesome. Nicole Swanson, awesome. Lynn, thank you. Rory, you guys rock. Thank you for your fabulousness in ordering. Also, Rob wants me to let you know we should have shipping set up for Canada, UK, Australia, etc. tomorrow or the next day as we're dialing in the site during this beta phase. Thank you, Rob. So if you tried to order or ship Canada, UK, Australia, we'll have that set up. So our apologies, but as we know, it is basically our beta set up. So this is the first launch. So I'm excited to excuse me, get you guys those shirts. And thank you, Rob, for all the work you're doing on that. Awesome. Okay. So, yeah, look at Ghost Ezra's last post. He says, forget about trying to wake people up. Yeah. Well, here's the thing. I don't tell people what to do, right? Ghost Ezra, I think, has some great drops and great stuff. But if you still want to wake somebody up, somebody that you love and somebody that you care about, by all means, do what you can, right? But I also know that it's late in the game and they may not be willing to wake up. And so, I get that. But that's awesome. Yeah, Texas is 100% open starting March 10th, by the way, March 10th. We got 2,300 beautiful humans here over 5 platforms, so welcome everybody. And I want to show you a few things here. I want to take you to the Q app, QAlerts.app, and we want to go for February. I'm sorry, March 3rd, 20. We'll go 2018. Okay, nothing there. Let's go to March 3rd, 2019. Nothing there. Oh, I know what I need to do. I need to put the 0 there. I always make this mistake. So let me go back to 2018. See, I have not looked at these, folks. March 3rd, 2018. Here we go. There are several. 828. Stay together. Be strong. Get organized. Be heard. Fight the censorship. You, the people, have all the power. You simply forgot how to play. Together, you are invincible. They want you divided. They want you silenced. Make noise. We are with you. Make it rain. Okay? By helping others along this path, we strengthen our ranks. And therefore, certainly prepare yourself, prepare others, but also don't be afraid to try to bring somebody along. Zebra, bring the thunder. Killbox 1A to 23X. Light T 1A to 23. Go 5, 17. Whenever I see that, I think coordinates. I think, telling, like military type coordinates and so forth of strategy, right? This was obviously March 3rd, 2018, but these things we find are very, very relevant today. 830, what I say, a class action lawsuit. What I say, a class action lawsuit. When is it effective? Who controls the narrative? Who wrote the singular censorship algorithm? Who deployed the algorithm? Who instructed them to deploy the algorithm? Same embed across multiple platforms. Why? Why is the timing relevant? Where is at Snowden? Why, why did Eric Schmidt leave Google? Why has NK, North Korea, out of the news cycle? Define FF. What events changed the news cycle? Why didn't Las Vegas change the news cycle? You have more than your no. No, there's very rarely typos in here, but there are a few here. And why has North Korea out of the news cycle gone? You have more than you know. Are. So is 17 telling us goner? They're a goner? I don't know. But that's just an example of misspellings that often mean something. Where we go one, we go all. Misspellings matter. Sentence formation matters. Learn. So there's 17 telling us right there that these misspellings matter. So goner is what that came up to. Okay? Possibly something different. Maybe you found something different there. If so, please drop it. A demonstration was made today in front of the White House. It showed they can control innocence. It was a direct threat. This is not a game. The MSM is creating emotional conflict. This destabilizes certain minds to become susceptible to outside control. What you see is 2%. The war is real. These people are sick. Watch the news this week. Again, even though this was written in 2018, this is very relevant today. This destabilizes certain minds to become susceptible. That should be susceptible, right? To outside control. Thank you, love. Love you. There we go. Although I'm probably going to wait until after. What you see is 2% susceptible to outside control. That means they're suspects, right? What you see is 2%. So we don't see enough to really figure out. And that's what I was saying earlier about Mike Adams. If his intentions are good, he just doesn't know enough. And not that I know more than him. I don't. I think I do in certain areas, but that's what I'm saying is that what you see is only 2%. We don't see everything. We're not supposed to see everything. 833, reality is labeled as conspiracy. You are made to feel crazy. You are told to obey. You are sheep to them, pawns to be sacrificed. Remember, we are winning. Do not trust what you read. Mind warfare. Up is down, left is right. Boom. Look at this. Up is down, left is right. Dr. Seuss, they're going after, right? Mr. Potato Head, we're going to make him, I know they reversed that, but they were talking about it. We're going to make him no longer a Mr. How many genders? We can't use pronouns. We can't, I mean, the lunacy is crazy. Up is down, left is right. We're seeing this. Enjoy the show. 834, The Bridge, 187, Bridge-2, at Snowden, Clowns, The Link, Google, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Russia, ICBM Tech, HRC Open Source, SAP, JP, TP, highest levels of U.S. government, Uranium One, North Korea. Why would Russia tell the world? Why? Why is SR back in the news? Why? Why is Sessions acting weak? Why? IG report, no legit leaks, MSM staging narrative, IG appointed by Sessions for, ? Why? Why? Enjoy the show, dead cat bounce, 17, okay? Dead cat bounce is a term on Wall Street where, the stock goes down and bounces big, but then it stops, right? It stops bouncing eventually, right? So the first bounce would be good. I love cats. I hate that term, but that's what they use it for. Okay. Look into these. You can look into these. You can go over. It's like, what is SAP? Let me go to research. Let me go to abbreviations, keys, and definitions. Let me go down to SAP, right? And see what it says. Is there an SAP? Maybe there's not. Okay. Here's the SAP, Special Access Programs. You see that? So that's how you can search within the Q alerts so that you can find your own stuff, because that's when it becomes a lot of fun, when you start really finding your own stuff here. Okay, JP, let's look, research, let's go to abbreviations. Well, what's JP? I don't know, right? So let me go there. And JP is John Podesta. Okay, so see how easy this is to do your own research here, and I love doing it. Let's do one. Let's do TP. Okay, let's go to over here to the key research, click, and then go down to abbreviations, and let's go down to TP. It's not toilet paper, I promise you that. Okay. And TP is not there. They missed that one, looks like. But I know what it is, so I can just tell you. TP is JP's brother. TP is Tony Podesta. Okay? So this is how you kind of decipher these things, and you realize that HRC open source, that was her communication when it should have been secure, and John Podesta and Tony Podesta completely involved. They own a lobbying firm together, and they're both heavily involved in Pizzagate and pedophilia, and have really sick images on their wall. They're really sick individuals. Let me go to 2019, and this is for tomorrow. And there's several there. We're not going to get to all these, but this is what I wanted to show you, okay? And by the way, notice the pricing on the items in the store. Not by accident, okay? But here's where you want to find out what's happening tomorrow, okay? So look at all these, all right? And I'll give you just the general scope, okay? Can you imagine that this is a LARP right here? Look at all this. This is one day, okay? It talks about the Q proofs, okay? It talks about staying in the light, all right? It talks about the Five Eyes Alliance, okay? New Zealand, UK, US, Australia, Canada, all right? That's why we know, New Zealand is deep state. That's why we know Canada is deep state, Australia, okay, UK, because they're the Five Eyes. They basically spied on us and gave each other information on us, just like we spied on the UK government, Australia government, and then we gave them the information that we found spying on them. See, that was their way around not spying on their own citizens. they were able to have other countries spy on us, on the citizens. All right. Q proofs. There's plenty of Q proofs here. D-class coming. More incriminating text releases coming. Dark to light. Carpet bombs. Moab. This was September 15th, 2018. Okay. And then Secretary issued on September 17th, 2018. So 2 days later, September 17th, week of, is when they're saying this is going to happen. And then here, the Law and Justice of the statement from the press secretary, okay, of the White House, is they show the declassification. Okay, so here was a proof 2 days before it actually came out as law, or it came out as a thing that the President Trump was going to ask the DOJ, including the FBI, to publicly release all text messages related to the Russia investigation. Remember all that information we have, folks. We have all that information, okay? It's going to come out. So then it gets into declass. Will initiate the resignation, recusal, and removal of Rod Rosenstein. And then it'll initiate the awareness that all signers are currently under investigation. Declassifies will factually demonstrate without argument the U.S. government under Hussein knowingly presented false evidence in FISA court in an effort to obtain legal U.S. intelligence umbrella surveillance of POTUS, identified target for the sole purpose of influencing the 2016 election of the presidency. Not Russia, but Hussein HRC, projection upon Russia to get the focus off them. They still have all this. That's why John Durham is still a special prosecutor, and that's why he's not being touched. They haven't touched John Durham. He resigned under the Attorney General in Connecticut, but he's still the special prosecutor. Safeguard against possible loss of power, firewalls, use of back channel surveillance, spy insertion, body 1, 2, and 5 by UK Australia primary activated under Director Brennan, Director Clapper with regular updates, live streaming, White House Hussein, non-oval situation room coordination, FISA full brings down the House, White House. FISA full brings down the House, the White House, brings down the Obama administration, brings down the Biden administration. Huge happenings coming, okay? So this is big because we're waiting for FISA, we're waiting for Rosenstein. And this is tomorrow, by the way. This is the 2-year delta for tomorrow. We just read the 3-year delta, okay? Okay. Hold on one sec. Excuse me. Okay. The physical landscape proves it could not have been taken pre-2016. Operation active pre-announcement, intel awareness pre-2016. I don't quite know what that means. Let's see. I don't know what they're talking about there. I think what they're talking about is that that they had planned this well ahead in advance of all this. They had planned this well ahead in advance of the 2016 election to make sure that they secured the election, but they couldn't, and they weren't going to be able to secure the 2020 election until they got us to do mail-in voting. Here's what they're explaining it. So it was known what was happening with Deep State, but this trip happened in 2016. And Q says, POTUS formally announced his candidacy on June 16, 2015. Why did the HRC campaign actively work to push POTUS as the right candidate for the GOP? Why did the HRC campaign publicly attack POTUS's opponents? Why did they want POTUS to be the nominee? Because they knew that they were going to spy on him. Did the fake news play along? Think pre-nominee. What setup insurance file was created assuming POTUS would become the nominee? The spying, the FISA. POTUS 1, Cruz 2. Was Cruz the target of a separate illegal spy campaign? Because remember, Cruz was spied on as well, right? Let me see how many we got. So we got a lot here. I'm not going to get through all these guys, but I want to lead you here, okay, to understand the significance of it. We are Q, okay, and basically 17 is saying you should update your Twitter banner pic to properly reflect the crowd size when the event actually started. Because Ted Lieu, who's a representative from California and is completely deep state and a POS, had on his banner a sparse crowd at the inauguration. And that was the narrative they were trying to push, that he wasn't getting the kind of support that we thought he was getting, when in actuality, those pictures were taken before he even stepped onto the dais. Okay. Have you ever witnessed a public all-out attack by the opposition party against the President of the United States? Those who would normally hide in the shadows are forced into the light. Panic. Patriots in control. This is a 2-year delta for tomorrow. Don't forget, okay? A lot of things to see here, a lot of things that make me realize that patriots are now in control. Keck, the bakery, they are baking. They're using the crumbs. They're baking, folks. You are the news now, Q tells us. You are the news now. The power of the people, okay? On the schedule, the Great Awakening. Breaking the chains of the Democrat Party. This is going to have music on it. I can't play it, but the Walk Away campaign. This is huge. I want you to see it, but outside of this broadcast, so I don't get flagged with copyright infringement, even though I have a fair use acknowledgement at the beginning of the show, and we don't own the rights to that. They are using that kind of a thing to shut us down, so we cannot play that game. Let me go to 2020, March 3rd. I'm sorry, 2030. If they, I did it again. Let me take you there. Nothing on March 3rd, 2020. Okay. So nothing happening from 1 year delta, but that 2-year delta was huge. So please check that out, folks. Please check that out. This is, that's the mug, the Great Awakening, Snedeheads 2020. I just clicked that. The IndoctriNATION. That's our mug, folks. You can get a 11 ounce or a 15 ounce mug there. And yeah, check it out. Check out the t-shirts. Check us out there. Let me also take you, if you go there and you go to shop, you get all the merchandise which you can get, which, by the way, this will be our first shirt. So know this, that these are the first shirts. There are going to be a lot more after this, but this is the OG. This is the original gangster, shirt that to be worn by the Snedeheads. And here they are. They rock. They're comfortable, 100% cotton. This one's 90-10, but these are 100%, very sturdy, very thick. You get the size down here. You can find your size, 4.3 ounce, 100% cotton thread, and you can get your size here. You can figure out what size you should get. Okay, and that obviously supports this broadcast. And if you get orders of $65 or more, use code SNEDHEADS and you get free shipping. Okay. We want you folks wearing these, and I thank you for your patience to get this all out there, as this took a while. It took a minute. I have a tendency to want to make things perfect. I'm a perfectionist of sorts, and I want things to be, you never know by the sound issues and some of the things I have, but that's technical stuff that is just even beyond my mind. Do they shrink? That's a great question. What would you say to that, Rob? Do they shrink? I think somebody said that they might shrink like 8%, but not much. But Rob, I welcome your feedback on that. The ones that I wore, I didn't feel that they shrunk much at all, but I only washed them twice. And so, and by the way, an XL fits me really well of this shirt, and I'm 6'9", 200 and like 50 pounds now, and they're also long enough, like in the waist. Like a lot of shirts, they're too short for me, but these are American Apparel. They're extra long in the waist. They're really really nice and really high quality. Really high quality. I still recommend you wash cotton a few times before wearing, just to get as many pesticides out as you can, and so you get it out of your system, right? So yeah. Guys, do you have any questions? Yeah, they're 100% cotton. They will shrink a little bit. So buy a little larger. Uh, Rule of thumb, if it's 100% cotton, do not dry in a clothes dryer. But the problem with that is I find if you hang dry them, they get kind of rough, right? Uh, C. McQuaid says, I spent 40 years in the garment business. They will shrink. C, would you say they shrink like 8%? Is that pretty accurate? 8 to 10%? What do you think? Get that mug shot in there, Dave. Yeah. You should always get one size bigger of any t-shirt. Ezra says Eckstein is the keystone. Epstein, I'm guessing you're saying, right? We've talked about that before, that he's the keystone that could bring down the whole thing, right? Because the keystone is that part of an arch, right? And he also had that arch at the temple on the island, right? Um, let's see. Let's see. Yes, Craig. Q11 equals 11.3 third sentence. Are you saying? Excuse me. Go to 11. You asked me to go to 11. Let me go to 11. See if that's the case. And key military intelligence versus FBI, CIA, NSA. No approval or congressional oversight. State secrets upheld under Supreme Court. Who's the commander in chief of the military? Under what article can the president impose military takeover investigations for three-letter agencies? What conditions must present itself? We've been down this road very many times. Why is it so very important? Who surrounds POTUS? That's the Marines. They lost this very important power. The one area of the government not corrupt and directly serves POTUS. That's the military. That's the Marines. POTUS can enact in the military takeover, especially with the when it's an insurrection, when it's foreign power basically invading our U.S. Soil, and that's what's happened. But the president in the past has been able to engage the U.S. military on U.S. soil, and that's what we expect is going to happen, because 17 has told us time and time again that it is military is the only way. Military is the only way. Kelly says, look at post 2102 about Alex Jones. Thank you. 2102. 17 is, there's a lot more to this than you realize. Kind of like this setup. I think I might go with it, but I'm looking left too much, I think. Here we go. Oh, I can't do that because you're seeing that. Okay, excuse me. There's a lot more to this than you realize. Think collective attacks versus Q. They attack Alex Jones to give him fake credibility among POTUS supporting patriots, thus poisoning the water and directing narrative of the opposition through a MOS-supported asset, aka Alex Jones. MOS is Mossad, which many feel that he is a part of. That's the Israeli intelligence. All team effort, coordinated collective attacks with pawns and actors serving black hat agenda and attempting to control, divide the patriots. Attacks will come from all sides. That is from an Anon, Okay. And, but it's also, 17 says, control and divide. Think Mueller. Who is testifying before Mueller tomorrow? Forensic data analysis on phones and or computers. This is not about Guccifer 2.0. What happens if Mueller proves Free Speech Systems LLC, aka InfoWars, is linked to a foreign intel agency or other non-domestic entity? How can the left use that information to divide and censor the right? Why are affiliates of InfoWars constantly attacking Q? Who is pulling the strings? Kill brackets, Free Speech Systems LLC, Q. So Q basically is validating my concerns and many concerns of the truth community that Alex is controlled opposition. And again, I'm very grateful for Alex because he was a part of the my awakening. And by the way, controlled opposition can be a part of your awakening as long as you break free from the controlled opposition in time or don't buy into it when, for example, they attack 17. Who's Guccifer 2.0? That had to do with um, the hack of the DNC. That was part of the fake narrative of the two of the hack of the DNC to show that it was a Russian hack and not an internal download. And that's what that's all about, if that answers your question. Yeah, he was on point at one time, but now he's compromised. But part of the role of controlled opposition, and he does have family in military. I'm sorry, in CIA, by the way. And part of the role of controlled opposition is they gain your trust so that you trust them more when they come out with something that's very critical, very timely. Like right now, some people are listening to them bash 17. And that's not okay in my book because that is huge. Okay. So I want to take you to the reason why I don't have time to go into the whole, all of those drops, and I want you to, is because I want to bring your attention to something that Stephanie Wald has been working on, and this is the executive order analysis of 4 of Biden's executive orders. Okay, and I'm going to take you through. We're going to go through these together. All right, and so I want to show you. This was as of 2/28/21, and these all affect immigration. So, Executive Order 14006, okay, reforming our, I know I'm kind of looking away there. Let me see if I can do something here. Let me do this. Well, then you can see, you're going to see, that's going to block. So I'm going to have to do it this way. Okay. Executive Order 14006, reforming our incarceration systems to eliminate the use of privately operated criminal detention facilities. Analysis: the private-owned incarceration facilities don't maintain the same standards as federal government facilities. They are not going to renew contracts as consistent with applicable law. Biden, more than 2 million people are currently incarcerated in the United States, including a disproportionate number of people of color. There is a broad consensus that our current system of mass incarceration imposes significant costs and hardships on our society and communities and does not make us safer. To decrease incarceration levels, we must reduce profit-based incentives to incarcerate by phasing out the federal government's reliance on privately operated criminal detention facilities. Now, so here's where they get interesting. This is where they basically tell you, okay, the system is broken and we're going to fix it. Okay. What's really rich about this is how many of the people that are currently in the incarceration system, the private, by the way, Wall Street firms, companies that are owned by individuals that are for profit. So the more people they enslave behind bars, the greater their stock rises. I do not believe that's a good thing, and that I believe that these prisons should be private, but they should also be nonprofit, so they could still make money that basically they pay salaries and maybe get bonuses and things for doing a very good job, but they're not on the stock exchange level, right? So this is about closing down some of these prisons, but they're also putting people back out on the streets. Okay, and so the Inspector General found in 2016 privately operated criminal detention facilities do not maintain the same levels of safety and security for people in the federal criminal justice system or for correctional staff. And we have a duty to provide that. Okay. Now, there is very little that the federal government is better at than a private company. Okay. You just have to hold these private companies accountable, and you certainly don't just put them back out in the streets. Okay. Especially, we'll get into this next one here. So bear with me here. This is 1410. Okay. And President Trump didn't have anything to counter that. Now, government agencies, along with CDC, will take steps to undo the prior asylum documents. Okay. This is hard for me to read. Let me see if I can zoom this a little bit. Let me see. Yes, I can. All right. I don't want to do that. Let me see. Let me get this view down. Slide only. Okay. This revokes Executive Order 13767. Address the causes of migration to manage migration throughout the North and Central America and provide safe and orderly processing of asylum seekers. Okay, so this is about asylum seekers. Okay. Border security. This is taking away border security and immigration enforcement. Okay. Mass migration through the southern border. That was proclamation that President Trump signed. Presidential memorandum of April 29, 2019, additional measures to enhance border security and restore integrity of our immigration systems. Okay, presidential memorandum ending catch and release at the border of the United States and directing other enhancements to immigration enforcement. Securing the southern border of the United States. So all of these things, okay, are being overturned by Mr. Biden, supposedly. Okay, let me go back to smaller, but I need to go bigger. Let me see if it's slide. So this is. Biden is now saying, I can't even read this. This is very difficult. Hold on a second. Okay. Make this bigger. Bear with me here, folks. Thank you. This was great work by Stephanie, and I'm just having trouble seeing it on my system. So, for generations, this is where they grandstand. Immigrants have come to the United States with little more than the clothes on their backs, hope in their hearts, and a desire to claim their own piece of the American dream. Oh, okay. So we're going to use our history and emotion and rhetoric to overturn what President Donald Trump has done. Okay. By the way, these will not take effect, I don't believe at all. These mothers, fathers, sons, and daughters have made our nation better and stronger. Wait a minute. Didn't Pelosi say we can no longer use those pronouns? Isn't the left saying we can no longer use those pronouns? Left is right, up is down. The U.S. is also a country with borders and with laws that must be enforced. They're saying that these laws aren't being. They're saying the obvious, stating the obvious. So they go with the emotion, then you use a term to state the obvious, so that you obviously agree with, right? The U.S. will enhance lawful pathways for migration to this country and will restore and strengthen our own asylum system, which has been badly damaged by policies enacted over the last 4 years that contravened our values and caused needless human suffering. Now, what causes needless human suffering is open, porous borders where children and humans are trafficked for sex, for labor, and by these coyotes, these human beings. Horrible, horrible situation that has basically been eliminated by Donald John Trump in 4 years. So they're trying to focus on programs and infrastructure that facilitate access to protection and other lawful immigration avenues. So they're basically letting them all in, okay? The DHS with the CDC shall promptly begin consultation and planning with international non-governmental organization, NGOs, those are the George Soroses of the world, to develop policies and procedures for the safe and orderly processing. That's a Freudian slip. That is for sale, these people, of asylum claims at U.S. land borders consistent with public health. So basically, if you come here and you say, I'm seeking asylum, then you can get in. Okay? That's why the caravan is coming. And if the caravan, if these people want socialism, why aren't those caravans going to Venezuela? They're coming to the United States. Why? Because of capitalism, because of the benefits of capitalism exist here. Okay? So this is grandstanding. This is grandstanding that they're trying to show us, to basically, excuse me, reverse all the great work that President Trump has done when it comes to immigration and the closing of our border, right? Let's see if it slide. So this is 14011. We just have two more, and then I'm going to wrap it up for the night, folks. Establishment of interagency task force on the reunification of families. Setting up a task force who can help with finding the parents of the children. Okay. Now, remember the Time magazine article, President Trump looking down at a child. They showed these children in cages that the Obama and Biden administration created, okay? And that many of these children were not with their parents because they were being trafficked, okay? They were being trafficked without their parents, okay? And in the few situations where they may have been separated from their parents, that is tragic indeed. But and they will be returned to their parents, but most of the children are by themselves because they're being trafficked. Okay, and so they're not with their parents. They've been stolen and brought to the United States or sold by the parents. It does happen. Yes, it does. So this is the emotion to get you all bent out of shape, because many people were bent out of shape. Revocation of executive order of President Trump's affording Congress an opportunity to address family separation is hereby revoked. To the extent prevented by law and subject to availability, the Department of Homeland Security shall provide the funding and administrative support the task force needs to implement this order as determined. So they're basically taking all this away of a rational look at solving this problem. So they're going to create a task force because this is more social grandstanding, right? Facilitating and enabling the reunification of each of the identified children with their families by making recommendations. This organization, this Biden organization, is not about that. This Biden organization is about opening up the borders so that there are more children trafficked And that's a tragedy. And that's exactly what we are being exposed to in this show that we are told to enjoy, okay? Because this is, we are at basically being shown what a fiasco this Biden administration would be. Blocking property with respect to the situation in Burma. This is 14014. Nothing in this order is intended to affect the continued effectiveness of any action taken pursuant to 13742 of October 7, 2016, termination of emergency with respect to the actions and policies of the government of Burma. Now, if you remember, Myanmar, Burma, the military has taken over there, and they are exposing all the leaders that were corrupt, and they are ending quite a bit of illegality over there. And the mainstream media will tell you that's not the case, but basically what's happening there is what's going to happen here in the United States. That's a military takeover for the benefit of getting rid of the bad people, which is exactly what they're doing in Myanmar, Burma. Okay. Such persons shall be treated by this section in the same manner as persons covered by Section 1 of Proclamation. Suspension of entry of aliens subject to United Nations Security Council travel bans and International Emergency Economic Power Acts. For this purposes of this order, partnership, association, etc. Government of Burma means government of Burma, any political subdivision, agency, or instrumentality. And so basically, excuse me, all property and interests in property that are in the United States, they're basically going to penalize Burma for actually taking out the deep state politicians. The Secretary of Homeland Security shall implement this order as it applies to the entry of non-citizens pursuant to such procedures as Secretary of Homeland Security. The unrestricted immigrant and non-immigrant entry into the United States of non-citizens determined to meet one or more of the criteria of this order would be detrimental to the interests of the United States in the entry of such persons into the U.S. as immigrants or non-immigrants is hereby suspended, except where the Secretary of State, as appropriate, determines that the person's entry would not be contrary to interests of the United States. So basically, it looks like they're trying to hurt Burma, not allowing them to come into the United States at a time when we really should probably take another look at that, because Burma is basically doing what we are about to do. What we are about to do is take over from these illegal deep state players and get our country back, because Burma is basically just an example of what we should be doing here, and we're not yet, but we will, and that's coming. When is it coming? Well, not quite sure. We aren't supposed to know. We aren't supposed to know. Stephen Sabo, thank you, my friend. You are amazing. Always such a great supporter of this broadcast. I want to thank Joseph Quorola, Leonard Shirka again, Linda Frost, Charles Wheeler, Sue Nelson, Terry York, Sharon Carter, Connie Halsley, the Image Gallery, Anita Henderson, Nicole Swanson, Lynn's Home Designs, Rory Karkoff, Christy Lyons, Julia Johnson, Jeffrey Miller. You guys rock. Thank you for your orders. Very excited for you guys to have all that. And let me see if we have any donations in Venmo. And we do not, but thank you. Thank you, Jasmine, for your payment of the fabulous silver. If you guys haven't gotten your silver yet, please do so. It's fantastic stuff. And I thank you all for your prayers. let's end with a prayer tonight. I want to get with my family. We'll be back Thursday, and for a heck of a show. And of course, if something major happens tomorrow, I'll come on and we'll connect. And here's what I would say. Don't forget to engage in visualization of what your life will look like when all these bad players are taken out. Um, yeah, because we have to see our future. We have to visualize our future for it to become a reality. And that is a very powerful, and it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun. Okay. Um, so let's end with a prayer. Thank you, Lord, for bringing us together this evening. Thank you for all the Snedheads that are buying merchandise and supporting this broadcast, and I'm just so honored that they want to support what we're doing here, and I'm so grateful for that. And thank you for President Donald John Trump and his family. We ask you to please strengthen him, protect him and his family. And we ask you to strengthen, protect all the Q team, all the Anons, all the autists, the keyboard warriors, and the Snedheads. I ask you to please watch over General Flynn and his team, Sidney Powell and her team, Lynn Wood and his team, and all the patriots that are doing, boots on the ground, doing real work to reverse this cartel, this cabal. Thank you for the military, all the police that are doing the dirty work in this cleanup, and we ask you to strengthen them and support them. I'd like to ask you to bless all the Snedheads, all those who are having difficulty right now, who are asking for prayers, and I ask you to please watch over them. Thank you for just helping Peter through his cancer treatment and coming out so strong, so vibrant after all of that. I thank you for knowing Joe, and we ask you to please watch over him as he joins you now, and wrap your arms around him and thank him for such an amazing impact that he had on humanity while he was here. And I just hope that I can touch people in the way that he has, and in so many beautiful ways like he has done before I leave this planet, before I leave this dimension. And thank you for that. Please watch over Jerry and all those who loved him. Thank you for all the support, and I pray for my family and protection. And thank you, Lord, thy will be done. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. All right, folks, great to spend time with you tonight. Thanks for hanging. Please share this out. Please share this with people that could benefit from this information. We make no claims. We make no medical claims of any kind, and we just ask you to just understand that we're sharing information as best we can, trying to figure things out as we go. Thank you all for ordering the teas. Thank you, Rob, for doing such a great job getting that all set up with me, and all the people who were part of that, the designers. I want to thank Holly. I want to thank Randy. I want to thank Eric. I want to thank Christy and Marianne and Leslie. I'm sorry, Lindsay. For your help and kind of moving things along and helping things through, and everybody did a little piece. I want to thank my friend Will, who did the original design a long time ago. I got to figure out when that was. And yeah, so thank you all. Have a great night. I'll see you Thursday. Be well. I love you, and I send you love and support in whatever you're going through. And I ask you to just stay positive, because it's happening, folks. This is happening. Patriots are now in control, and there will be people out there that will tell you that's not the case. And that is why we need each other more and more. We need community. We need to strengthen each other. We need to strengthen our resolve. We need to keep this truth train moving forward. We all need to get out and push. We all need to gather more people to push this train through the sea of lies. I love you all. Be well. Have a great night. And